Let's talk about this upcoming full moon in Taurus, and it's going to be a wild one. But if you stay to the end, I will give you some suggestions on how to use these energies to their highest advantage. Let me say, we've got full moons all the time, but not like this one, right? This is the fourth consecutive supermoon. This is conjunct Uranus, conjunct the demon star, Algol. So it will be very wild. And for those of you who don't speak astronerd and you don't know what that means, well, number one, full moons are a time of release. It has a lot to do with emotional release and maybe an ending, a completion, a culmination of something. But when you throw Uranus in the mix, we're dealing with something pretty destabilizing occurring in the sign of Taurus, which likes everything to be stable and fixed and solid. Well, guess what? It's not getting its way here, and it's not happy about it. And then you throw that demon star Algol into the mix. This is an off with your heads type of energy. And by the way, we've been seeing a lot of this with the head shaving going on. And I'm telling you, there's a lot of aspects that could influence people towards really a lot of emotional instability. Now, am I saying that the stars are responsible for people's actions? Absolutely not. Let me be clear here that what's going on with the energy, the frequency may influence, but at the end of the day, you have your own free will of how you want to respond to it. And I want to help y'all respond to it in the most positive, constructive way possible. But I got to warn you, not everybody's going to be doing that because they don't understand the higher purpose and plan of what's happening here. And I do believe that what's happening here is a catalyst for some serious change. Think back to what you were starting or establishing about 6 months ago. Did it have something to do with a change of values? Were you trying to establish or lay the groundwork for something new to begin at this time that has reached completion or it's run its course at this point? Has it gone the way that you expected or anticipated? Is it in alignment with your values, or has something suddenly shifted and confronted you? The shift at this point may be upsetting. It might be revealing some insecurities within you. The change might have been very unexpected, but was it for the better or the worse? These changes very much have to do with security issues when we're talking about Scorpio and Taurus. Might be bringing up issues of sexuality, power dynamics within relationships, intimacy, trust. Let's be brutally honest here. Not everyone is happy with these changes. Some people are feeling very triggered right now that what has given them security, what they place their security in, has been upset, rattled to some degree. So we are seeing a lot of nasty power dynamics in relationships come up where you see people feeling like they have been disempowered and they're taking their power back in some way or form. What we're also seeing is a lot of control issues coming up in people where if people feel that they're losing control, especially if the way they maintain it is externally rather than internally through introspection, they're starting to try to get more controlling of other people rather than self-controlled. And just a pro tip here, there's a lot of projection going on because of people's lack of introspection and self-awareness and personal healing work. So what they've been accusing people of, namely saying other people are in a cult, well, it turns out they're the ones in a cult. Maybe they put their control, their sense of control within a system that gave them a sense of security. But if that is unraveling, then there's a lack of inner security. And so we see a lot of these dynamics coming out of what people do to get control and power, and maybe even a lot of projection onto others, projecting that other people are trying to control others rather than themselves. Boundaries are a real issue with this energy. Understanding what's mine versus what's yours versus what's ours. Huge problem. Especially when people's values are at odds with others, and this is digging up insecurity issues where people feel like they're having to get into right fighting about who's right or who's wrong, or whose values should be valued and whose should not. I'm sorry to say, but this is unearthing a mental health crisis, which I'm going to have to make a whole nother video on just to really adequately do it justice to cover that topic, because really this whole energy has mental health crisis and instability written all over it. I'm sorry to say. In terms of resources, we also have a change of values, and definitely like down to the monetary system, a change of direction with that. On the positive, I believe there's more optimism with consumer spending, but there's still a bit of a tug of war going on. Not everybody's on board with these changes. I mean, even Jerome Powell of the Fed made some statement that he's not really going to be going along with Donald Trump's plans. And his plans have a lot to do with reining in these credit card companies and not allowing them to charge over 10% interest, cutting waste, which is very Capricornian in Venus. There's going to be a lot of people that lose their jobs over this. But the positive is that there's going to be some more individuals. The individual family-owned farms, for example, are going to benefit from cuts in big ag and cuts in Department of Education. A lot of people are going to lose their jobs over that, but we're going to be bringing more money and resources to the local level. So it's a mixed bag here. We got some winners and losers. Not everybody's happy about it. In terms of humanity, realize that this full moon in Taurus precedes just 4 days before Pluto goes into Aquarius, which is a 20-year major transit impacting this great awakening that we are witnessing within humanity. And so what we're seeing is a major teardown to bring about a major rebuild. Very much with our institutions that, yes, a lot of people have maybe put their trust into, and perhaps learning now it was misplaced trust. Maybe they felt secure with these structures, these institutions, and now they're learning that that was all misplaced, and they're having to find value from within. Things are never going to be the same again. You can see that with what's going on with RFK and his Maha movement, where he is going to be radically shifting what's going on with big med, big pharma, big ag. Suffice it to say, Pluto is a death rebirth cycle, and right now what we're seeing is these institutions dying. Understand that people are going to lose jobs, businesses will be bankrupted, departments will be dismantled. And as ugly as that sounds, it makes way for an incredible rebirth where you have money, power, influence getting returned back to the people, back to family-owned farms, apothecaries, naturopathic modalities of healing. As much as people want to freak out about the death aspect of this cycle, keep your eye on the prize. Keep your eye on the ball, the goal, where we're headed to. And that is a fantastic rebirth cycle, similar to the catharsis of a caterpillar becoming a butterfly. That's what we're in right now. But to get there, what we're having to look at with the sun in Scorpio at this time is the dark side of what happens when absolute power corrupts absolutely. And some people do not want to see it. They do not want to deal with reality. They don't really have the capacity to deal with it because we've been dealing with a lot of escapism over the last year and a half, Saturn and Pisces, and people have been getting dealt heavy karma consequences about trying to escape all these reality checks that understand all the crazy that's coming out is putting a spotlight on, here's the reality. We have a mental health crisis. We have a lot of insecure people, mentally, emotionally insecure people, and we've got to deal with the truth of the matter. All this energy is a catalyst for change that is absolutely coming. And what we are seeing is cult-like behavior. And I'm sorry to say, but that's likely going to get worse as we get closer to this lunation on Friday the 15th. Because we're also dealing with an opposition between Pluto and Leo, which is highly combative. The chance of discord, disagreements, tension is really, really increased with this lunation. So I do want to caution you. Some of you are going to realize that some people you know have mental problems and you didn't realize it. It's going to come out. And some people you know maybe got sucked into a cult and you're going to realize it. And with hysterical type of behavior, childish behavior, a lot of theatrics going on. And with the sun in Scorpio during this time, the spotlight could be on secrets having to do with sexuality, drug addiction, drug trafficking, migrants, human trafficking, things like that. The seedy side of life and culture, particularly in America. This could trigger bipolars, depressives. We've already been seeing an increase in people reportedly unaliving themselves post the election because they're so in fear of losing control or not being in control or people not agreeing with their values that they don't know how to cope or resolve this. So that's what they do. It's an off with your heads type of energy. It also can trigger people who act like they're off their meds. Maybe they are. I don't know. But it's like schizoid type of behavior where the thinking and the communicating is very shifty. As concerning as this is, the positive is that the energy is putting a spotlight on it so we can see very clearly what the problem is and what the clear solution is.